The Cubs need another starting pitcher, and we're going to talk about a potential candidate, Pablo Lopez.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, alongside Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show, making us your first listen today. The best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, like the video, and comment anything below. Today's episode is presented by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Pablo Lopez has made 32 starts each of the last 3 seasons, solidifying himself as one of the most reliable starting pitchers in all of baseball. He's also had flashes of excellence during this time, including an all-star selection in 2023. The right-hander posted a 4.08 ERA in 24, 3.66 in 23, and 3.75 in 22. He's got a 5-pitch mix, plus fastball, plus changeup, but otherwise his stuff is pretty much just effective. And Sam, I'll explain in a couple minutes why Lopez might even be available in the first place, but as the starting pitching market, especially in free agency, for impact talent starts to dwindle, I think Lopez is an intriguing trade target for the Cubs.
Yeah, and I think he became more intriguing on Monday morning when Walker Buehler signed with the Red Sox. And I spent a lot of time last night. You know, I was tired of watching football, and so I spent a lot of time doing my Pablo Lopez homework, and I was pretty pleased with my findings. The first thing I would do to describe Lopez as a pitcher, for our listeners to understand, is it's the exact kind of opposite deal of Luzardo. With Luzardo, you're looking for a guy with tons of upside, and you're concerned about health and a potential floor. With Lopez, as you said, he's been extremely durable the last 3 years, and he's been fairly consistent. He's the type of guy where if you trade for him, you know in the ballpark of what you're going to get. So it's two totally different situations compared to the Luzardo one. The one thing I'll say with with Lopez, is the peripherals, the underlying stuff does say he should be a little bit better than what he has been, especially last year. You look at the Savant, you look at the pages. I mean, he's a big fastball guy. He relies on his fastball a lot. He throws it almost half the time if you count the sinker as well with that. He gets a lot of swings and misses, like a lot of them, and a lot of chase, really. He gets strikeouts. Last year he struck out 198 guys in 185 innings. Anytime you see that number over 9 per a guy an inning, that's always a good sign. The year before, he struck out 234 batters in 194 innings. Wow. And the thing that I love is he doesn't walk people. He's a little bit of a victim of the home run ball. Gave up 26 last year, so that's probably a problem. So you kind of some Shota type stuff, right? Good amount of Ks, gives up the home run ball, gets a lot of whiffs, those type of things. What he is, Matt, is he's a very solid major league starter.
Yeah, and I think for that reason, I am intrigued by the possibility of them acquiring him and slotting him in between Steele and Imanaga. Part of this is the financial factor, as with a lot of teams right now, but especially with the teams that have a very perilous TV situation, and the Minnesota Twins are one of them, with reportedly wanting to get to an opening day payroll of $130 million. Jeez. Right now, according to Fangraphs, they're at 150. So they would need to go down quite a bit here. Lopez is owed $21.75 each of the next 3 years in cold hard cash, but his luxury tax hit, for whatever reason, is 18.37. In terms of the pitchers that are out there, you look at Lopez, you look at Castillo, Lopez would be a little bit more cost effective than Castillo. There's similar questions about Castillo in terms of his peripherals and did he regress in 24? Is he going to continue that slide or
Yeah.
bounce back
Yep.
and dip in velo or not? And I think in terms of trade candidates that carry a more significant price tag, I have settled on Lopez. I also am just not a believer in the Mariners wanting to break up that fivesome. Although if they do, it is going to be Castillo. But if the Twins want the salary relief that they desire, despite Lopez being under team control through 27, then I don't think the return is going to be as exorbitant as we think. And that's under the premise, as we talked about off the air the other day at Dave and Buster's, that's under the premise that the Cubs take on 100% of the deal, which they would need to do. The Twins aren't going to trade Lopez unless the other team takes on all the cash. So the Cubs are in a good position to do this with strength in their farm system. They're in a good position because they can take that 18 to 21 million per year. And but the other thing here is what other teams are going for them. The Orioles, the Mets, potentially the Giants. So there's competition, and so I'm really curious what Jed Hoyer and his team there, who they really want to acquire via trade or free agency. But I think Lopez has to be at this point after Monday morning, like you said, top of the list.
And it's a fair contract. It really is. It's not you're not bringing in, and Castillo's I would say is a better pitcher than Lopez, and he's making a little bit more money. Like they're both pretty fair contracts considering the market. Sean Manaea is making $25 million a year. Eovaldi's making $25 million a year.
Wow.
Walker Buehler just got 21 for his first year. So the going rate for any pitcher right now, the Tyone contract from Jed is aged well. That was one that a lot of people, including me, raised an eyebrow at. And we talked about trading it. If Tyone were on the open market right now, I think he would get a little bit more just considering what's happened. So it's a fair contract for Lopez. He's only 28 years old. So he's got maybe his best years ahead of him. And, I think if you make the deal, it's not the type of deal, the Luzardo was the type of deal where it's like, man, if that works out, whoa, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. This is more of a safe bet. But if I run out Steele, Lopez, Imanaga, Tyone, Boyd with our Wicks and our Assad and our Brown and our Horton as our, extra guys, that's good. That's a good group. And Lopez and Boyd would be two upgrades from what we were running out last year. And so I would use the word intrigued about this. I'm intrigued by this potential trade, and I see that you found that funny, which is great. The sun has not been out.
You'd be a comfortable addition.
I would be comfortable. That's another good word.
Thank you.
I'm going to take like a vitamin D or something after this because it's just really dark out.
Yeah, no, it's been dark the whole day. And Corbin Burns.
Yeah, let's talk about him for a second.
He's not realistic for this club.
Yeah, which is sad.
Yeah. The only other impact name in free agency, I believe, is Jack Flaherty.
Yeah.
The way the market's going, Cubs aren't going to get Jack Flaherty.
He's going to get like $25 million a year
for 5 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So he's out.
Okay.
So if they really want someone of so-called impact, it has to be a trade. And I haven't heard anything directly about the Rays. They already traded Jeffrey Springs to the A's.
I don't like trading with the Rays.
I don't think they're looking to make a deal unless it's just a great deal for them. Shane McClanahan is a bounce back candidate, similar to Luzardo, where he's a lefty, injury history, but he's only making four M's this year. Why would the Rays trade him?
No, that'd be a heavy cost.
There's a couple other guys there, but again, they don't cost a lot.
And Roki,
the Mariners thing is a fantasy, dude. Bryce Miller this year, Sam, he's making $800,000. He's not going to be traded.
No,
the Mariners would be stupid.
It'd have to be Castillo.
Yeah. And Roki, thank you for bringing him up. I forget about him. You know why? as weird as this is to say,
Yeah.
0 teams are counting on him. 0.
Well, no, and the thing
It
is,
would be just an awesome bonus. Whoever he goes with, it's an awesome bonus.
that's what I said on Twitter. It's like you don't sit and go, "Well, we're not going to get X, Y, and Z because we're rating on Roki." He doesn't
No, you
cost
can't.
he doesn't cost any money. So if he comes on your team,
Right.
great. And if he doesn't, I had a friend of mine. I was talking to my friend of mine who knows baseball, and he countered me and he goes, "Well, maybe because he costs so little, that's why the Cubs are waiting because." If they get him, then they don't have to spend a lot of money on a pitcher and they can go all in for something else. And it's like, but you can't do that because guys are coming off the board. So
Yes.
if you really like a guy, you got to pounce on that. You can't rely. Now, it'd be one thing if it was like a 75% chance he's coming here. It's probably like 15, 20%. So it's like you can't do that. And it doesn't cost a lot of money. So you'll figure it out. That'd be great if he came. If you trade for Pablo Lopez and Roki decides to pick the Cubs, you'll figure it out.
Exactly. And after Burns and Flaherty, the list drops off. It's really it's a trio of 40-plus-year-old guys. And I don't know if I would call them impact additions anymore.
Verlander, I know, is one.
Verlander, and they would all be 1-year deals. Verlander, Scherzer, and Morton. And those are just more back end, but that's really where, after those 3 guys, that's truly where the list stops.
Yeah,
You're not going to sign Kyle Gibson. You're not going to sign Lance Lynn. You're not, you know what I mean? Michael Lorenzen is out there.
Yeah, the Verlander Scherzer thing would be fun for media purposes, like just that type of name pitching. But I'm not sure how much either gentleman has left.
Exactly.
So, it's about winning baseball games. But I'm intrigued by Lopez. Comfortable is probably a better word.
Coming up next, who do the Cubs have right now at the starting pitching position? Let's remind ourselves of that and go over the depth chart. Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Whether it's a Cubs game, a comedy show, or a concert, I love going to live events. And now Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. With clear last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. The experience of searching for and then buying tickets on Game Time is simple. Plus, Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it?
Game time.
Cubs starting pitching, rotation, and depth. I got 11 names on my card here, Sam.
Wow, 11.
Right now, on opening day, I believe it would be Steele, Imanaga, Tyone, Boyd, and Assad. And then behind those guys, you have Wicks, Brown, Poteet, Killian, Birdsell, and Horton. Those are your serious internal options. Horton's the last name there, despite his ceiling, because we don't have a clue about his health. With that being said, it has been nice to get good updates on Ben Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And also Luke Little, by the way, is doing well. They just got Poteet last week. Killian really shouldn't be on this list, but he's on the 40-man. And then Brandon Birdsell is like the best of the rest. The Cubs have that consensus like top 7 or 8 prospects. He'd probably be like 9th or 10th.
Mm-hmm.
He finished in AAA last year, so maybe we see him with the big club this year as well. So that's who's on the sheet right now.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot.
It'll be a short show.
I would say, I think there's some good depth there. And I think this graphic illustrates the need for one more stabilizer.
Exactly.
One more guy that just pushes everybody down a notch. I've moved on from the Killian experiment. Poteet, from what I've heard, It's kind of like a Wisniewski type, but just with a little different repertoire. Cade, like you said, question mark. Birdsell will be really interesting. He'll start a little bit this season, don't you think? He's going to get an opportunity at some point, you'd assume, with some injuries.
Mhm.
And then we all know how with Wicks and Assad and those guys. So I'd like one more stabilizer, and that's a nice nice group of guys, nice nest.
Given all these pitchers and their lack of experience, if the Cubs don't add someone from the tier or the names that we've discussed over the past week or so, I know we just mentioned this last segment, but I really do wonder if a 1-year deal for one of those super veterans makes sense.
Super
Because it
veterans.
has on and off field potential there.
Yeah, and I mean, again, when you look at this list, you can afford a guy to be, a 110 inning guy. What if you get Verlander, but deep down Jed's like, yeah, it's really going to be Verlander Wicks. They're going to split time, and so you just get the best of those guys. I would like for that not to happen. I'd like to do something before that, but I also, I'm a romantic when it comes to this game, and I'm not going to whine to see Justin Verlander in a Cub uniform. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would.
To see him
And
pitch.
he probably cost between 10 and 14, something like that.
See if he's still got it. Just make sure we spend the money that we need to spend.
Buehler, he got a specific number today with the Red Sox. The number was if someone accepted the qualifying offer.
Yeah.
And I just thought for 21 M's over 1 year, I actually thought that was too much.
Yeah,
because you need to get bullpen help and a bench bat.
I hear you. And it's just such a shame that we're on such a strict.
Given his risk is what I meant, because Lopez is about the same number.
No, of course. Well, Lopez is a much safer option at this point. It's just, I hate to say it, but, it just stinks that we have to really worry about that.
Yeah, we got to get the spreadsheet out every time.
Yeah, we got to get the spreadsheet out every time, 40. So, yeah, because, but based on the budget that we're on, that would be over half of our remaining budget for the rest of the year, so you'd like it to be on a safer guy than Buehler. That's why Luzardo was so fascinating at $6.5 million.
Before we get to our last segment, I did want to again announce our Cubs convention meetup on Friday, January 17th. Wow, it's almost 2025. This convention is only a few weeks away. Cubs convention meetup, Locked On Cubs, and the setup man, Kyle Stanley. Join us from 4 to 5:30. That's Central Standard Time, CST, on Friday, January 17th at Shy Bar at the Sheraton Grand Chicago there in the heart of Chicago at the Cubs convention. Should be a great event. Coming up next, we have some trivia here on a Tuesday, and just thought of this game the other day. I think because Marquee might be replaying it over the holidays, but let's do a little trivia, game specific from the 2008 version next.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a W. I love betting on which players will score a touchdown and how many points each team will score. It's thrilling. Matt, the Bears play Thursday night. The last time the Bears won a game on American soil, we were in the wild card round of the postseason. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets if you can win that first one. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
All right, to close out Locked On Cubs, actually, before we get to that, wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and we will be back on Friday, pending any breaking news. Sam, on September 18th, 2008, the Cubs beat the Astros 5-0. Do you remember why this is a notable game?
Yeah, was Zambrano's no-hitter?
Yes, it was.
And that was in Milwaukee because of what was it, like a hurricane or something going on?
Yeah, hurricane. Can you name the hurricane?
Was it 08? That wasn't Katrina.
Ike.
Hurricane Ike. No, yeah.
Hurricane Ike.
No.
Who did the Cubs? Oh, the Cubs beat the Astros. I already said
They
that.
told me
Miller
that
Park
they
in
beat the
Milwaukee.
Astros 5-0 Miller Park. Watched that game in my upstairs TV situation there, which was rare for me. I don't remember a whole lot about the game. I just remember the last pitch. It was way in the dirt. It was like a low and away in the dirt for Zambranos for the strikeout for the no hitter. But I don't remember any details, which I should, of how they scored or anything like that. But I remember that was kind of the wait, is this the year moment in 2008? But of course, I was at game 1 of the NLDS that year, where a baseball player by the name of James Loney hit a grand slam. Cubs got out ahead early in that game with a Mark DeRosa 2-run homer, totally opposite field, just fair down the right field line. And it was like, oh, well, they're going to cruise. But Dempster had major command troubles that day, walked a bunch of guys, and eventually gave up a grand slam to Loney. And the Cubs never recovered, didn't win a baseball game in that series.
Wow. All right. Well, any final words before the holidays here?
Just, enjoy time with the family. Merry Christmas to you. And I was hoping for, look, I'll be honest, I was hoping for a move today.
Me too.
Just selfishly, of course, just wanted to be able to do a show before we get in. Cause I just, I would prefer if nothing dropped during the holidays, but if they do, I'll be ready.
Okay.
And yeah, I've kind of, the Tucker stuff has settled.
Yeah.
And now it's time for the next move.
Right.
On this path to winning this division. 2025, the road to the NL Central.
Wow. Well, that's a good way to put it. So, all right, that's going to do it for us here on Locked On Cubs. And I got one more Danny Rocket song, Sam. Would you like to hear it?
Sure, why not?
This is called Craig Counsell. Everybody have a happy holidays with their family and friends. We'll talk to you on Friday.
Craig Counsell managing the game. Cubs got a new manager, but nothing ever changed. Oh, Craig Counsell managing the game. Cubs got a new manager, but everything's the same.
Go Cubs.
Oh, I cut it off by accident.
Oh, that's all right.
That's my fault.
No, it's all right. It happens, man. You can't get them all.
I tried to get too cute. I thought I could weave in drops during the song.
That's all right. I think we got the gist of it.
Gotcha. All right, we'll talk to everybody on Friday. Not the best closing of a show that I've had.
Yeah, it's all right. And then I'll be by myself for that.
I think I'm going to join you for that.
Oh, okay. Hey, you guys don't watch this show. You don't expect Spielberg type stuff here, okay? Or Scorsese. This isn't feature film. Sometimes you make a mistake.
Oh, he's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs. Give it to me.
It's a bad take.
I know.
Go Cubs.